Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you ever thought about a massive company, one that sells everything from, say, phone plans to gasoline? How in the world did they keep all that money straight? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on SAP FICO. It's the powerful system that acts as the financial backbone for the world's biggest companies. And the cool part is, we're going to build its foundational structure together right from the ground up, step by step.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll break down what SAP FICO actually is. Then, we're going to look at the real-world problem it was built to solve. From there, we'll get into the really important stuff, the idea of a company versus a company code. And finally, we'll walk through creating and linking them. Let's get right into it.
So what is this FICO thing anyway? Well, the first thing you got to know is that it's not just one thing. It's actually two separate but totally interconnected modules, FI and CO, and they work together perfectly. I mean, just picture a huge conglomerate. It could own businesses in telecom, retail, maybe even petroleum. Seriously, how does the main headquarters keep the financial records for all of those completely different worlds from just turning into total chaos?
And that's exactly where FICO steps in. The FI part, that stands for financial accounting. It handles all the reports that face the outside world. You know, the official legal stuff you have to show to investors, the tax office, and the public. Then you've got CO, which is for controlling. This is all for the internal team. It gives managers the inside scoop they need to track costs, see what's profitable, and just make smarter decisions for the business.
All right, so to really get why this all matters, let's step away from the theory and jump into a real-world example. I promise this will make it absolutely clear why this structure is so critical.
Let's take a company like Reliance Industries. It's a perfect example of a massive company that has a ton of different, totally independent business divisions.
Think about it. These businesses are in completely different universes. When you go and buy a phone plan, your actual legal transaction is with the telecom company, right? Not the giant parent company that also owns a petroleum refinery. Each of these businesses is basically its own legal entity.
And here's the big challenge for any system. It has to be smart enough to record that phone plan sale only in the telecom subsidiary's books. But, and this is the important part, at the end of the day, the parent company needs to be able to roll up all the numbers from all its subsidiaries to get that big, high-level picture of the entire operation.
This whole situation just perfectly sets up the absolute core concept of SAP's financial structure, the fundamental difference between what SAP calls a company and a company code.
So in the SAP universe, the company is the whole group, the big parent entity at the very top. What's crucial to remember is that it doesn't actually process any day-to-day transactions itself. Nope. Its only job is to be the big bucket where all the financial results from the subsidiaries get collected for that final consolidated report.
The company code, now that's where all the action happens. It represents an independent legal company, like one of the subsidiaries. Every single daily transaction, every sale, every purchase, every payment gets posted here.
All right, theory's over. Let's see how this stuff is actually built inside the system. We're going to get our hands dirty, at least conceptually, and start by creating that top-level parent entity, the company.
Now, in the world of SAP, you get around using something called transaction codes, or T-codes for short. Just think of them as keyboard shortcuts that take you directly to a specific task. To create our parent company, the magic T-code we need is OX15. And the process itself is pretty straightforward. First, you'd click New Entries to get started. Next, you give your parent company a unique 6-character ID. Then you just fill in the basic details, address, country, language, all that stuff. And finally, you hit Save, which kicks off a really important process in the background.
So when you save, SAP will ask you to create what's called a transport request. Don't let the name scare you. It's really just a digital moving box. It neatly packages up all the changes you just made, which makes it super easy and safe to move them from, say, a test system over to the live one.
Awesome. Our parent company is created. But remember, no transactions actually happen there. For that, we need to create the subsidiary, that legal entity, our company code. So we're heading back to the command field. This time we're going to pop in a different T-code, OX02. This one takes us to the screen where we can define a company code.
At first, this screen looks really similar, right? You start with New, you define a key, you add the details. But you've got to notice the little differences. The unique ID for a company code is only 4 characters long, not 6. And you'll see the system is super helpful. It puts these little check marks next to fields like currency that are mandatory. You absolutely have to fill those in before you can save.
This table here really just sums it all up perfectly. Take a look at the purpose row. Company's all about consolidation, while the company code is for day-to-day operations. The T codes are different, the key lengths are different, and it all comes down to that fundamental parent-subsidiary relationship. If you remember one thing, remember that distinction.
Okay, so we've basically created two separate Lego bricks, our parent company and our subsidiary company code. They both exist in the system, but right now they don't even know about each other. So the final, and I mean absolutely critical step, is to connect them.
And that brings us to our last T code for today, OX16. Its one and only job is to make this crucial link, to assign a company code to a company.
What you do on this screen is actually incredibly simple. You just find your company code in the list, then in the column right next to it, you type in the 6-character key of its parent company. You hit save, and that's it. Boom! The connection is made. Your foundational financial structure is officially built.
And really, that's the simple elegance of SAP's financial structure. All the transactions get posted down at the individual company code level, which keeps the books for each legal company clean and accurate. But because they're all linked up to the parent company, all that data can be rolled up for that all-important group-level view. It's this simple but incredibly powerful design that lets SAP bring clarity to the world's most complex businesses.
So look, we've built the house, but right now it's just an empty shell. To make it a home, it needs a chart of accounts to organize everything, specific rules for how to handle transactions, and so much more. This foundation is truly just the beginning. So the real question now is, what do you think is the single most critical piece you need to add next to really bring this financial house to life?